What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show, and in this video I want to talk with you guys about a really important topic. 5 reasons why an employer or a business owner should hire a guy after prison. You know, with After Prison Show just recently reaching over 900,000 subscribers and basically been booming since then, it's things like this that just open my eyes even further to just how much reach After Prison Show really has. And with that reach, we should be doing a lot more to really help with everything in relation to After Prison. You know, I've said this before and I can't emphasize this enough, but After Prison Show, this is a lot bigger than just me at this point. And with us constantly continuing to grow, I want this channel to do as much positive good as it possibly can do. We've done a lot throughout the almost 3 years that After Prison Show has been around for, through the prison stories, cooking videos, interviews, but it's more positive work and more positive motivating content that I want this channel to really stand for. But don't get me wrong though, we are still going to continue to do everything that you guys have loved and enjoyed thus far with this channel. But again, today I want to share with you 5 reasons why an employer or a business owner should hire someone after prison. Now, you know, when you think about that, hiring somebody coming home from prison or with a felony on his or her record, you probably think, you know, there's a lot more cons than there are pros in that situation. And if you think about the cons, what could they be? This person coming home might not have transportation for his or herself and has to have somebody else driving them to and from work. This person might not even have that steady of a place to really be living. They might not be reliable overall. But everything that I'm mentioning here, these are a lot of what ifs. And in some cases, yes, these are things that are going to be likely. But just as there are these negative things that come into play when thinking about hiring somebody after prison, there's also some positive things that you might have not even known about or even considered. You know, I personally believe that most everyone deserves a second chance. And just because they've made mistakes in their past and they might even have an extensive criminal history, sort of like what I have, doesn't mean that they can't or aren't willing to make the changes necessary in their lives to be successful and also to be a damn good employee. No matter what the case may be or the mistakes of the past, most everyone reaches a point in their life where they finally realize enough is enough and it's time to make some damn changes. So it's with everything that I've mentioned thus far, what do you say we go ahead and done?
He done ate my food so many times, I'm starving, going nuts. I was like, going nuts, going nuts, going nuts. So I was like, going nuts. I was like, losing my freaking mind.
Head first into these 5 reasons why an employer should hire someone after prison. So with these 5 reasons to hire someone after prison, I'm going to count these down from 5 to 1. And 1 being what I consider the most incentive-filled reason why an employer or business owner should hire somebody coming home trying to reestablish their life out here in the free world. And with that, let's go ahead and start with number 5 being an ex-prisoner's willingness to work long hours. You know, coming home from prison and trying to get back into the working world, one of the biggest motivating factors there is going to be trying to make as much money as you possibly can. Because an ex-prisoner is going to have all sorts of things they need money for, trying to reestablish their life, maybe getting an apartment, getting a place to live, buying clothes, groceries, paying off any type of court fines that they may have. And one thing that's going to certainly help them to do this is by working long hours. And you know, I can remember when I was working at my concrete pouring job, not concrete porn, concrete pouring. For those of you who might not be familiar with what I'm talking about, back before I was doing YouTube, I was working at this super labor-intensive concrete plant working all sorts of extremely long hours. Most days averaging like 12 hours a day, if not more than that. 14, 16, even 18-hour days. And you know what? Even though this was extremely grueling work that I was doing, I was super grateful to be able to work these type of hours because I knew working these extremely long hours, getting this overtime was going to help me to make more money and was going to help me to further myself faster in an effort to reestablish myself and get my life back on the right track. And you know, there's the potential that somebody who's never been locked up, somebody who's never been in a screwed up situation might complain about having to work all of these additional long hours hours, not having much time at home with their family, their friends, or just free time in general, they might complain about something like this. An ex-prisoner, a guy who's just coming home, he's going to be extremely grateful for this opportunity. And you probably ain't got to worry about him doing much complaining at all. In fact, he's probably going to be more like, hey, 16 hours a day. Can we work 24? Because I'm trying to make all the money I can. I'm just coming home. There's a lot of things that I need money to be able to afford. I've got nothing out here. And having the opportunity to be able to work as many hours as you're willing to give me as a potential employer, I'm going to be extremely grateful for every bit of that. Moving on to number 4, and sort of similar to the willingness to work extremely long hours, is an ex-prisoner's willingness to do the dirty or grunt work. In fact, they're probably going to be more willing to do the jobs that most regular people aren't going to want to do and might also be complaining about. Hey, why I gotta clean up this mess over here? I didn't make this mess. Why I gotta do all of this grunt and dirty work? An ex-prisoner, on the other hand, he's gonna be like, hey, that mess right there, you got any more messes you need cleaned up, sir? Because I'm gonna do whatever you need me to do. I'm just coming home and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to prove to you as my boss that I'm worth keeping around. Number 3 is sort of a broad category, and that is loyalty. You know, when you hire somebody who's fresh out, fresh coming home, just getting released, or somebody who's got a felony on their record, who's been having trouble trying to find employment anywhere else, and you give that person an opportunity to work, I can guarantee you that person is going to be extremely grateful for you doing just that. Giving them an opportunity to prove themselves and also to try to have like sort of a second chance at life. That job is going to be a major part of their second chance, their rehabilitation, their chance to prove to the world and also themselves that they could potentially do a lot better in life. And you know, that loyalty and that gratefulness for that job opportunity is definitely going to relate to number 5 and number 4 that we just previously mentioned. Their willingness to work those long hours, their willingness to do the dirty grunt work that nobody else really wants to do or might complain about as well. There's a good potential that hiring somebody after prison could be one of the best hiring decisions an employer or business owner ever makes. Let's go ahead and move on to number 2, and this is one that I'm not really proud to have to admit. Believe me, I've definitely fallen into this category for a good majority of my life. But this would not be very authentic if this didn't make the list. This is an absolute reality here. And what number 2 is you know, somebody coming home from prison or with a felony on their record is probably going to be willing to work for a much cheaper wage first starting out than your average applicant. Somebody who ain't got no criminal record, who ain't never been locked up, who's going to be asking for $15 or $17 an hour. And you know, I want to share with you how I fit into this category in particular. One, I've definitely worked plenty of jobs, especially coming home this time, starting out at $7.50, $8, $9 an hour. I mean, you can barely even survive on that type of money. And in all reality, you probably need to be working like 2 jobs if that's the type of money you're making. And you know, I'm not trying to say that any potential employer out there should be trying to offer a guy first coming home $7.50, $8, or $9 an hour. I mean, really, I think the bare minimum that a person should be working for is like $10 an hour, but that's just my own personal opinion. But I also want to share with you another thing as well. You know, I can remember this one time when I went on this construction site looking for a job. I literally pulled up on this construction site. It was a brick masonry job, and I had a little bit of experience being a laborer for a brick masonry company in the past. So I felt pretty good about pulling up on this job site and trying to get a job. Well, when I did so, I spoke with the owner of the company. He was right there. It was a small company. And I said to this guy, I said, "Excuse me, sir, I really need a job. I've got a little bit of brick masonry laboring experience, and I will be one hell of an employee for you if you give me a chance." And you know, I sat there and spoke with this guy for a little while. He listened to what I was saying. He was definitely taking into consideration giving me a chance to work for him. And then he asked me, he says, "Well, how much money are you looking to make?" And it was when this guy said this to me that I think I said probably one of the smartest things I ever said while attempting to find work with a criminal record. I said to this guy, "I don't know, but how about we do this? What if you give me an opportunity to work for you today, and after today, after you see how hard I work, then we talk about an hourly rate?" And this guy actually agreed to do that. And I busted my ass for this guy this very first day, and for the time that I worked for him afterwards. I think I worked for this guy for a couple of months. And you know, that's not very good at all. But back then I was still getting in a lot of trouble. Even though I had a pretty decent work ethic, I still was young and getting in a lot of trouble. No, I already said that. But after that first day, this guy said to me, he said, you know what? You do work hard. And because of that, I'm going to pay you like 10 or 11 bucks an hour. And to me back then, this was years ago, and that was a pretty decent wage to be making. I was grateful for that. And again, even though I might have only lasted a couple of months working for this guy before I actually quit or got locked up, I can't remember what happened. During that time, I was an extremely hard worker. Let's move on to number one and what I consider to be the biggest, most incentiveful field, I hope that's a word. It's probably not. But number one is what I consider to be the greatest reason why an employer or business owner should hire somebody coming home from prison or someone with a criminal record. And this might actually be kind of surprising to some of you who might not be familiar with any of this. But did you know that if you hire somebody who's coming home or has a criminal record, you can actually qualify for up to a $2,400 tax credit? So can you imagine as a business owner, if you hire 5 guys coming home from prison, $2,400 a pop for a tax credit, you're getting something like $1 million break right there. $24 times 5, I'm pretty sure it's not $1 million. I don't know what it is, but that's a pretty decent tax break. And just hiring one guy getting that $2,400 tax credit, that's a pretty good thing. And I've also got a little bit of information on this as well. It says, tax breaks for employers who hire felons. Participating in this program is straightforward. After hiring an ex-felon, you complete a few forms, then submit them to your state's workforce agency. If the employee works at least 120 hours for you, you can claim a 25% tax credit on her first year's wages. Why I gotta be a her though? You can claim 40% on her first year's wages if she works 400 hours for your company. The federal government does set a cap on the dollar amount of the tax credit you can claim, so it's a good idea to check and find out what the cap currently is before filing your taxes. But that's a pretty good thing right there. That's a little incentive to hire somebody who might have had a little bit of a troubling past. And not only can you qualify for the tax credit, if you hire somebody with a record, you can also get a bond for that person. Now, I'm trying to understand what a bond is. And a bond to me, what I'm gathering, is like a little bit of an insurance policy. So say you hire that person and they don't work out. Say they steal from you. They do some embezzling. They do some bad things. There is a potential that they could turn out to be a bad, rotten apple. But not everybody's going to be that, okay? Most people, they just need a second chance to really prove and redeem themselves. If you hire somebody who's got a record, you can also have a bond for that person. And let me read you this information. The federal bonding program is simple. This bond protects the employer for employee dishonesty, including theft, forgery, larceny, and embezzlement. Employers receive the FBP bonds free of charge as an incentive to hire these applicants. So, if you take a chance and it doesn't work out, you can be covered. Each FBP bond has a $5,000 limit with $0 deductible and covers the first 6 months of a selected individual's employment. To any potential employers out there, to any potential business owners who might have not, thought about hiring people coming home or with a record or, with a troubling past, I hope this video is something that can open your eyes to the fact that, just because somebody's made mistakes in their past doesn't mean that they can't redeem themselves and live up to being an awesome employee for you. And to anybody out there who's in a position where they have a troubling past, a criminal history, or just coming home from prison, let this be a little bit of an eye-opener for you as well. Maybe these are things that you weren't familiar with at all. And when you go to an employer, maybe you can mention, hey, look, if you do give me a chance to work for you, not only will you not regret it, and I'll be there on time, I'll work those long hours, I'll do the dirty grunt work, I'll be a loyal employee, and I'm even willing to work for a little bit less than the average applicant. And also, you could get a bit of a tax break credit for giving me a chance to be your employee. And also, you could get a little bit of an insurance policy on me too if you're a little on the fence about whether or not to give me a chance. In fact, I could be federally bonded for up to $5,000. But I'm telling you right now, you ain't gonna need none of that because I'm gonna be the best damn employee you ever had. Matter of fact, that whole stack of applications you got sitting on your desk with mine, you might as well make paper footballs out of them and throw them in the trash because I'm gonna be the best. I'm here right now to redeem myself and to prove I'm worth having a second chance. So what do you say? You gonna give me a chance? No! You ain't gonna hire me, you motherfucker! I'm just kidding. You're gonna hire me. See you tomorrow, 7 o'clock, I'll be there.
drooling.
Hey, look, that's it. Dave's over in the corner laughing. He's dying. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about it. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world, never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace! You gonna hide me? Oh, you better hide me! I knew this Walmart shirt was about to get me a job. I didn't even have to pull the bat out of the trunk.